Probably one of the most unfortunate things that can happen to anyone playing Beyblade is when your Beyblade breaks. So in this video, I have asked you, the subscriber, to send me some of your most painful breaks, and we'll rank it based on either how funny it is or how much debt you're gonna be in to try to replace it. So if you are new here and like bays that spin, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts. And as well, what a segue, if you want to get some bays, Mall of Bays. We are Canadian based and we import from Japan, an optional way to support the channel, and I appreciate any and all supports regardless. So I'll kind of explain the tiering that I have for this. This is which is just like awful, pain, wallet breaker, and debt. And we're just gonna kind of go from there, because to be honest, I don't actually know how you're supposed to do this, but I'm doing the content either way, because someone commented on my live previously, so why not? Which, hey, if you have suggestions, feel free to give me them. Oh, also, super important to mention, so with Beyblade X stuff and breaking, if you saw my Impact Drake video against Wizard Rod, no, it was an Impact Drake that literally broke Wizard Rod. It was me using Wizard Rod for that long period of time to where eventually it broke off. I've had, for an example, bits break. Like most recently, I've had my low rush break, which was really, really painful because they have not reprinted that. But I have done a video, a collaboration with Nizuma and Cake many, many years ago. Actually, it wasn't that long. I don't know why I'm saying that, but it was, you know, a while back, talking about, you know, how Beyblade X works, you know, breakages, how much worry you should actually have. And there also is a pretty good video that I think is from Zep Variety Hour, I'm pretty sure, something like that. I'll leave a link in the description, which also kind of goes into sort of like the science or like the actual in-depth reason to why they break and that type of stuff. Which I think was super, super educational and very well made. So check out those videos if you want other context, and we'll kind of go from there. Because basically how I'm doing this and how I have this set up is that I'm basically gonna just kind of go over how these things actually do break, and also we'll do a little ranking system, I guess. So for an example here, my bumper assist blade is the only part I've actually had break on me. So this bumper right here, if we kind of just drag it onto the tier list that we actually have set up, bumper, you'll notice that it actually has these little thin structures here. Now for custom line, you know, if you have plastic contacts, why the fuck are you gonna leave the plastic like super exposed and easy to crack? That is gonna be a weak point in the design. Generally when you try to have these whole shock absorption thing, is gonna be something where, yeah, I mean, eventually that thing should just snap. Bumper is a prime example. I don't think this is like too bad. This is definitely, we're gonna put this in you know? It's nothing where I would, like, you can replace it. It's not too hard to replace. Okay, this is from Penguin Fan. You're gonna notice that their Hell Scythe has the ratchet tabs completely snapped off. This is because on the original mold for Beyblade X ratchet tabs, they were pretty much a square shape, which was prone to breakages. Eventually with Unicorn Sting being released, they fixed and patched it. So because this is a Hell Scythe, and because, you know, this is the original one, we're gonna put this actually in awful. Because while you can get this replaced, you know, it's still like it's the specific OG one. Also, it's kind of unfortunate that literally it's unplayable. If a break like that happens, you cannot use that ever again. Holy shit, is that Cobalt Drake? Dude, literally this is true. It is unplayable. Look at that. So these tabs were a terrible design, but they did fix it obviously later on. But look at that. That's pretty nasty, and that's a rare bait too. Even though we are getting technically a reprint now of Cobalt's Drake, or even you could argue the silver one, that's painful. Like if a rare bay breaks, dude, that one might have to go high. I think we're gonna actually hit that on, I'm gonna say debts. I'm gonna, like a rare base, like especially the original one, you're looking at what, like a couple hundred? Oh my God, look at this. Drawn sword, especially at the start of X when I'm discovering its power. Okay, this is just insane. Look at this. Every single middle part segmented off right here. What else do we have? Okay, so this kind of makes some sense. This does seem pretty fresh, but that weak point makes sense in the structure. So basically, this kind of happens even on Phoenix Wing, for an example, but the brunt, or like near the front of the wing, you'll notice that that part will get weaker, because it makes sense, because when you're connecting that hit, that part there is going to eventually get weaker and weaker and weaker. That's actually why, funny enough, I think Drone Sword has like a couple of mold updates where they do try to reinforce and put more metal in there, and I do think it's really awesome. That kind of just doesn't get talked about too much, but it is pretty common to see Kiritomi do a lot of these updated molds. And a lot of stuff start to slightly go up in weight because they keep reinforcing stuff, which I think is always kind of cool to see. I'm just gonna put this in I don't know, this is drawn so... We're gonna put this in... Uh-oh. I mean, to be fair, the way they broke that other one is kind of nuts. That is kind of crazy, but it's not too insane. So here we have... Whoa. Okay, we have Gunma who kind of posted this. So, black shell. Look at where it cracked here. Black shell cracked like... Look at that. Right here. I would have thought it'd be this contact here because I thought that's what makes the most hits. No. Here's the thing. If you're in the West, black shell breaking, you know, you can just get like that booster pretty cheap. But if you're in like the Asia region, that's a pain in the ass. You have to pull the prize bay again. So I don't know. That might be technically a wallet breaker almost because you have to gamble and buy a lot of random boosters to get guaranteed. Okay, another one from Gumma. Oh my god, both turtles? Okay, that is kind of nuts. They kind of killed both turtles. Look at where the contact is broken on there, right on the little wing. Yeah, that is kind of sad. Damn. Your seal's not too bad to get though, so I guess that's just gonna be kind of pain. I don't know. We're gonna put it in pain, you know. To put the stickers again. I don't know. I just want to put... I should have not done so many tiers, but I'm too deep into this to minimize it. Look at that! So this is what I was saying, like with the drawn sword one. Look, right here, again, the brunt of the wing. So again, similar to, depending if you're in the West or not, or if you're in the Asia region, you know, you gotta pull that random booster stuff. In here, we do get it as a booster, but I do think those things probably are a little bit hard to get around. So we're gonna do it in we'll do it in wallet breaker tier, because I'm just gonna factor in general. Even the booster, even though actually that is true, the boosters are kind of tricky, but either way, that is kind of nuts. That's... I don't know. Actually, we'll put this one in pain. We'll put it in pain, to be fair. Okay, we already got Lycan. This is 3 different breaks. Whoa! Hell's Hammer? Oh, okay, hold on. We got a lot to work with here. We have Shark that broke, which is right here under the brunt of the wing. Here, it's also kind of similar. It's on the prong where that little big chain contact point is. And then after the Phoenix wing, also the same. This is very interesting that these are all very specific breaks where they're all at kind of where the prongs are for the contact. It's kind of a weird thing where I'm just trying to think to myself, you know, in the context of where that gets hit, how easy it is just to kind of snap off. I want to actually ask that, have you ever had breaks like that where it's like on the prong specifically? Because on the contact points, I think kind of makes sense, but these are kind of crazy. So Phoenix Swing, we're gonna kind of put, you know, it is a little pricey to get, you know, both of them are in an expensive launcher set. If you're in Asia, this would maybe go a little bit higher because these are both locked in different sets, but these are in 2-packs. Still a little bit pricey, you know. You could argue a little bit higher. You'd have to buy 2 different 2-packs. Yeah, actually, let's kind of put a few more in Wallet Breaker. We might adjust as we go down. Hammer, this is unfortunate. Hammer is literally on the Hammer contact points. Hammer, we're gonna put this in pain, because that is, oof, that is, wow. Some of these are kind of cool, because then after you can kind of see what does most of the work in the design when it eventually starts to snap off. This one might be crazy, because this is, you gotta either argue Wallet Breaker or Des, because Hover Wyvern is in an expensive set. Now, obviously you can argue, well, you know, it's not crazy expensive, but honestly, dude, like in Canada, this set is super pricey, and it's to get one specific bay, and I hope TT makes an easy reprint, or even Hasbro, but dude, that sucks. And that's also, I've seen this very common, it's on the, where it holds the ratchet. I just assume maybe it just hits so hard that it causes the whole thing to shake, to then after the plastic to kind of snap off, but yeah, that's, wow, shout out Lycan, by the way. Thank you for blading just so we could see some cool stuff here. Here we have Haru. Now this one is probably one of the most common ones, which is Silver Wolf. Now, there are 2 different types of breaks that Haru actually showcased, so we can actually talk about it. The first break that we see here is specifically the metal on the wing snapping off. Now, how to fix that, I don't know. You reinforce the design, maybe. That one is maybe avoidable in air quotes. The other one, which is not avoidable, so if you look at Silver Wolf on the bottom, it has screws. In fact, you can even see it on the screenshot. It has screws instead of, I would say, rivets would have maybe made more sense. ones. I just feel because it's not so reinforced, it's just a lot easier to break off completely on the structure. So I've had that where the plastic is snapped off, where that was like crazy for that specific break. Wolf is not too bad to, I guess, get, but Wolf is kind of super common, so I almost want to say wallet breaker with how common it is, because I feel it's not like, when I say common, I don't mean like, oh, you use it one time and then that's it, but it's just very frequent, so why people have to stock up on Silver Wolf so much. You could actually, we'll maybe leave it here for now. I feel like if it's something that's more prevalent, that maybe it should be argued a little bit higher for how frequent you need to pull it. The other one is Wizard Rod, so this one is kind of easy to explain, although how they have it snapped off is nuts. I think I saw someone else with the same thing. It's literally just because you see these little holes that Wizard Rod has on there? Yeah, that's gonna be very, very easy just for it eventually to kind of just weak and die. So I'll probably put it in Wallet Breaker just because I feel like you use Wizard Rod so many times in events and stuff that those breaks are gonna be very common if you're competing a lot. So here's where we're gonna actually do some adjustments because these two are kind of insane. I think these 2-packs have to move down now because these next ones are really insane. Samurai Saber, you can only get it in expensive launcher sets. Yeah, that's pretty rough. And that break, if you look at it, it's right at the top of the wing. Night Mail is really bad because Night Mail still has no Hasbro reprint, probably not for a long time. This is probably one of the most pricey customized sets to pull, so that's unfortunate. Saber will just say it's gonna be maybe in a Wallet Breaker. It's in a pricey launcher set, you know. I don't think it's super common, but I just think the method to obtain it's pretty expensive. And then just another Wizard Rod. Yeah, these cracks are, if you do so much competitive testing, it happens. It's not really common per se, it's just something that like it's going to be an inevitability. So always you'll have a little bit of fear. Ooh, okay, this is really awful. Look at this. This looks like it's just the metal that snapped off. So I mean, this is not too hard to replace, so we'll put this, I guess we're gonna have to put this technically a tier below the awful tier. I don't know. Oh, it's probably like a rarity. I'll maybe move the Drawn Sword up just because I feel, you know, maybe Drawn Sword's a little bit more used than Hell Scythe for that to happen, and the breakages I feel would likely be more common. We have another Wizard Rod, which we've already ranked. This one's actually really cute. I shared it to Puffin? Cute little keychain. We're gonna put this, if there's a tier list just for a drip or whatever, for how cool it looked for your breakage, yeah, we'll put it there. Okay, this one's crazy. Shout out to Chill. Broke a stadium and Knight's Mail in one launch. Okay, this is actually dead tier because a stadium's a pain in the ass to replace and Night Mail? Shit. How the fuck did you break it like that? Damn, bro, that's like crazy. That's like a Mortal Kombat finisher right there. Look at that. This one's crazy. Shout out to Lot of Toast. I've had this happen to me on my original arrow. The arrow basically, I think this is on the top of the thread. The wing cracks there. It's the same thing as Phoenix Wing or Drawn Sword. Actually, probably a weakness to 3-sided designs like that. This one is in debt. This one is like, it's gonna be hard to obtain. Even if you want to argue there's an arrow reprint afterwards, if you want the original one, that's really bad. Come on. This is really just, okay, this one from, whoa, look at this. Night Mail, but it broke kind of on the opposite ends, which is super, super funny. This will be our last one. Shout out to Jordicus. If I said the name wrong, I'm super, super sorry. They did a very nice image here. Thank you for the effort on this. Not the effort on breaking the bays. I don't know why I'd be commending you to break your bays. The effort to edit this image. Look at this. Drawn Dagger, super, super common for that area. That's why they reinforced it. Hover's been really bad. Look at that. Gale, oh my God. Shell, the stadium. Listen, I think they almost deserve a tier above for that, just because that's crazy. I mean, all of these individually, like Gale in a 2-pack, you'd probably put it in like Pain. Shell, again, in the context, you could either put it in Pain or if you're in Asia otherwise. Hover at the top. Dagger would probably be at the top because Dagger's reprint is only in a stadium set. That specific color, I mean, the other one is in a cheap booster. And these other parts too. This is crazy work. Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of it. I hope this video was kind of fun for everyone. I tried to mix this on kind of just talking about some of the crazy stuff for breakages, and then after just kind of trying to do some fun stuff. So what do you want the next tier list video to be? There's a big competitive one, which I'm working on for the end of September, probably. I don't know. I say shit, and then after when I actually do it, we'll see. We got gear chip tier list. I don't know what other stuff we could do. I thought this was fun. Maybe we do a thing where we go over the collections or whatever, and we do tier list on that. I don't know. Give me your suggestions in the comment section below. I actually love doing this. This was so much fun. Alrighty, well anyways, I want to say thank you all for watching. And that's going to be it for now. I want to say take care and bye.